What's up, everybody? AI intelligence rating dictates the ability of your AI opponent to adjust how it plays based on how you play. Just like in real life, some fighters adjust, some can't. So let's say I'm using feints to set up big right hands on a fighter with high AI intelligence. That's how you defeat a fighter with high AI intelligence rating. You understand? You mix up your attack. Guillermo Rigondeaux, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. And defeating these guys in the game on the highest difficulty should be damn near absolutely impossible. Now, feints also, that's something that the AI needs to respond to in an accurate way. Okay, if I land a flush left hook on my opponent and then feint the left hook, they should look to block the left hook. Another thing, fighters have game plans going into a fight depending on who you are as a fighter. And that's another thing you damn near will never see in an EA fighting game. A fighter on his back foot. Every style of boxing needs to be portrayed in this game, you guys. Not just on a visual level to where you look at it and you say, oh, okay, that guy stands like he's a brawler, or he stands like he's a slick fighter. No, he needs to behave that way too. You understand? Now, if you really expect to accurately portray a guy like Terry Norris, James Toney, Manny Pacquiao, Sugar Ray Leonard, you need to accurately portray their hand speed and speed at which they throw combinations. The default speed, the speed at which you are forced to throw punches currently in online multiplayer on Fight Night, is terrible. Now offline in Fight Now, you can actually increase the speed in the options menu, and it actually starts to get there in terms of how fast individual punches are thrown. Anyway, in EA UFC, I noticed that the combination speed is still not, it's not quite there. Alright, still not realistic for fighters with fast hands. Now, I've listened to other people talk about the inside game. This really is a lot simpler than you guys may think. Okay, first off, very important, straight punches only do damage at long range. Okay, perfect that, because once we are able to take the fight to the inside, strengths your opponent may have on the outside should be extinguished. Okay, now I spoke already in part 2 about rehydration and weight. Now I'm gonna explain to you now what factor that plays in gameplay on the inside. So let's say two players are chest to chest, holding forward on their controller. The heavier fighter, given of course that he isn't beaten down, you know what I mean, tired, he's gonna have his way on the inside. Also, you guys can implement a physical strength rating per fighter, and I'll get to ratings in a moment. You know, so I've noticed that for every fight night that's released, fighters are allowed to be closer. There's less and less distance from each other than ever before. That's great. So when I say chest to chest, I expect to really see chest to chest fighting. But yeah, a little tap to that square button and you nudge your opponent with the shoulder, you know, give you a little room to work and do more damage. Another big one. Same thing here, I noticed with people that they don't know how to explain what's wrong or what to do better. And unfortunately, it is painfully obvious that the team at EA had the same problem. How do I know this? Because as soon as you do clinch, which the function of doing that alone seems to be intentionally awkwardly mapped to the back of the joystick. But what happens? The crowd boos. Okay, immediately. Or the commentary will say something like, oh, there goes the clinch. Nobody likes to see that. They do this to discourage you from clinching in the game. Alright, because they know
that it sucks and it just does not look or feel realistic. So how do you make it look and feel realistic?
First thing you do is you take it from the goofy ass spot where it's at in the back of the controller and you move it to the area where your thumbs already are, the triangle button.
Now I'm gonna assume that you have a basic understanding, you know, going in to watching this video, a basic understanding of boxing and you know, the role of clinching in the sport. You know, especially if you have boxed and you understand, you know, the clinch happens, okay? It's part of boxing, all right? And it is a tool you use in the ring, okay? Let's say you're a guy whose strengths lie, you know, in the outside game, and Mike Tyson is all up on you. What are you gonna do?
What you do is you grab and you hold until the referee breaks you apart, and now you have room again to work at long range. All right. You want a blueprint how to have the clinch? You guys over at EA, you just designed a clinch for the UFC game. It's really not a whole lot different. Okay. Just instead of transitioning from a hold to a Muay Thai clinch or whatever, you simply transition from having one arm free, to being completely tied up, or to having both your arms free. In other words, you exit the clinch. And of course, while an arm is tied up, you can punch with the other arm. And during all this, don't forget there is an ongoing battle of physicality. Who can bully who backward in the clinch and sap the other's strength? Okay, because remember, a fighter's ability to land good shots in the clinch will vary. Okay, for example, Vladimir Klitschko and Bernard Hopkins. These are two fighters who both use the clinch masterfully in very different ways. Alright, see, Bernard, he likes to get in the clinch and go to work with the free arm on the opposite side of the referee. That's another dynamic of the sport that has to be in the game. But Vladimir, on the other hand, prefers to use his size and strength to lean on his opponent and sap his strength. Now, I'm going to solve the problem of so-called running right now. Something that EA has struggled so hard with to find a solution for, that what they came up with was actually to patch the game and have it so if you get anywhere near the ropes, you suddenly move like you're in a pool of cement. And I don't know how or why they decided to take such a giant swan dive backwards by doing this. But there are no foot speed ratings in Fight Night Champion, and that's the problem. Because a fighter who is ordinarily very fast afoot in real life can't close the distance, and vice versa. Someone who should not be closing the distance so fast is, okay? And especially, you know, when you have the stupid thing with the ropes. So, to all you people that complain a guy is running, in boxing, you come to the ring prepared for any style, and there is a remedy for every style. And if a fighter is moving around the ring, cut off the ring, attack his body. Body work slows the legs. So you may remember earlier I made the distinction between foot speed and footwork, because of course some fighters are very fast afoot but do things like this, whereas the movements of a fighter who may be far slower afoot appear more controlled and much less reckless. How you decide to implement this in the game is up to you. I would suggest the higher the footwork rating, the tighter the feel of the movement. Okay, and if you have a very low footwork rating, you know, it'll feel slightly looser, regardless of foot speed. Kind of like a driving game. Not all fast cars handle great, and some of the cars with the best handling don't go very fast, and some do. But you have to tailor these stats to every fighter as accurately as you can, and of course allow us to retailor them to our liking. You know, and we need our ratings to dip below 75 if we want, by the way. I mean, that was great that you had that in Fight Night Champion, that we could adjust the ratings, but I noticed that you can't go underneath 75, and that does not make any sense at all. So, to conclude part 3, something I mentioned I get to in part 1 that I'll get to later, and here it is. As far as bumps and bruises go, graphically, EA, you guys probably have just about mastered. Most recently in the EA UFC, the facial damage looks great. I still do wonder if the actual location of a cut is the direct result of exactly where a punch landed or whatever, but if not, obviously it needs to be. If a cut is open, I want to see it in the replay at the end of the round. I want to see the shot that did it, you know, not just black eyes and, you know, little red areas on the face. I want to see swollen lips, cuts on the lip, cuts inside of the mouth, broken jaws, broken noses, broken hands, busted ankles, broken orbital bones, dislocated arms, calf injuries. I mean, listen, some of these injuries that I just mentioned are rare, alright, and should be just about as rare in the game, but the point is, they happen in boxing, they need to be in the game, alright? That's you guys' motto, right? EA? If it's in the game, it's in the game? Okay, well, please. Now, I hope you guys are taking notes, okay? I mean, I'm giving this to you for free, because this is what we all want as gamers and fans of boxing. You understand? We want a boxing game that encapsulates every aspect and style of gameplay, so that, you know, as a wide variety of gamers and fans of the sport, we could choose what style, you know, of gameplay suits us. Alright, just as in boxing, styles make fights. So, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to remind you, please leave a like on the video. Not for me. Alright, this is for the game that we want. Alright, I want this video just to get the exposure so that EA can see this and more fans of the sport can see this. Okay?
Boxing is big. Alright, so stay tuned and subscribe for part 4.
The finale.
And that's where I'll see you.
Peace.